Hello, Literates, and welcome to the first Honesty of the year. So, for those of you who are new here, I'm Britt. This is my channel, Brittwriterly. It's a book and author table where I talk about the intersections of literature and culture, and I document my writing journey. This year, the writing journey is going to be super exciting because I'm publishing my first book. It's coming out February 2024. So, if you have not gone and saved A Church Girl's Guide to Courting Danger on Goodreads, definitely go save it on your want to read list because you definitely are going to want to read it. And if you want a sneak peek of it, stay tuned for how you can get an advanced reader copy or an ARC of it. And if you subscribe to my newsletter, the monthly Trooper, then you can get the first chapter of it easy peasy, no ARC websites involved. So if you want to subscribe to the monthly Trooper and get sneak peeks like the first chapter and also much more exclusive goodness, then you need to go to betrulyWriterly.com so that you can sign up for this unobtrusive, not spammy, once a month newsletter. Hurry, hurry, hurry before you miss this month's, because when this month's come out, that's when there's going to be a certain link to a certain preview, but you gotta act fast. Okay, betrulyreadily.com. It is linked in the description box, so go down there, quick link, quick input of your email, boom, you're in business. Okay, so this honesty, I am going to talk about, yes, my goals, um, but I'm also going to talk about the lessons I've learned thus far from um, this most recent leg of my writing journey, right? So if you're familiar with honesties, you know that usually I do a you did that, or I talk about which goals from last month that I reached, and then I go into hashtag goals where I roll over goals that I didn't yet achieve and add on new ones as appropriate. But for the first one of the year, I want to start with lessons that I've learned on my road to publishing, right? So there are four major lessons. And the first one is that the book is not the same as the business. The book is creative. It's your baby. It's something that you have to learn the craft of writing and get disciplined and into whatever it is, whether you're a I write every day person or whether you're I write once a week on these days, whatever, like whatever your thing is for here's how I produce, you have to get disciplined and figure that out. You may have read some craft books, maybe you read Save the Cat, maybe you read Brandon Sanderson's Rules of Magic, whatever. You read it. How to write a book about kissing, whatever, right? Whatever the craft book for your genre, you did the investigation, you learned what you needed to learn so that you could do what you wanted to do in your story. That's one side of it, right? You're learning a craft. You're getting into the backstory. What's their name? What's their middle name? Why is that their middle name, right? It's so much layers of creativity and creating a person with legs and feelings. It's a really 4D type of thing. When you have to start going into the business part of it, the marketing of that book, you have to step back. People don't care in the marketing why Eliza's middle name is what it is, right? People don't care why Cassie's middle name is what it is. They just want to know why they should read. They want to know about the tropes. They want to know about what representations are in the book, right? Oh, she's Haitian American. Interesting. Oh, she's first gen immigrant. Interesting. That's what they want to know. Does that come into the book? Yes, it does, in the interactions that she has with her mom. But they don't want to know about the interactions with her mom. They want to know she's first gen Haitian American, right? And then they'll say, okay, well, there's a representation there. So it takes some time to figure out, or it took me some time to figure out. I got to step back out of the creative into the science of marketing. So that's the first lesson. And I won't say too much about it because I'm still learning. It is a science, and I'm sure there's an art to it, but right now I'm mastering the science of it, and then I can get artful. But right now I'm just trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. So in the same way that I had to invest time in reading all these craft books about writing, is the exact same way I'm having to invest time to read and learn like these marketing courses with like how do you use Instagram and TikTok for marketing. How do you like what's the importance of having a newsletter? What should be on your author website? All these different things. You have to learn all of that the same way that you had to learn the craft of writing more technically. Beyond any affinity or talent you had, you still want to invest in learning the craft more formally. And I'm not saying that you have to go to an MFA program, but like formally is in sitting down and reading a book that's been written for writers, that's the same thing you want to invest time in doing for the marketing side, because if you don't invest in the business, the book is probably going to fall flat. And I'm speaking especially to indie authors. If not fall flat, take longer for it to get its legs in the world than it should. Your book deserves to be applauded, and you want to find the right people who will applaud that book. And that is marketing, getting your book in front of the right people by presenting it, packaging it the right way. Learning how to package it, that will take some time. So plan for that and be ready to put on a totally different hat. The only thing else I would say is to like make sure you do the creative stuff well enough to where once you take that creative hat off, you can be totally in the business. You don't have to say, oh crap, that scene doesn't sound like I want it to sound now that I'm looking at it in format. Let me change it. Do, 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 do. Now I'm creative again. You really want to make sure that you are wearing each hat the way you need to and for as long as you need to, so you don't have to wear multiple hats for the same project at the same time. The second thing, scheduling is king. And this is a lesson that I sort of learned from the book Being a Business. I didn't really schedule time to learn new things like marketing, but marketing's the thing that you need to learn. And I felt so much anxiety and behind because, oh, I didn't schedule time to take a course on Instagram marketing. What the heck? Right. But you do. You need to schedule not only like your content, but you need to step back and analyze what kind of content do I want to produce, what kind of content is sustainable, and what are a few different types that I'd be okay producing in case I try out this content, my audience doesn't like it. I try out this content, my audience doesn't like it. Yes, you want to produce content that your audience likes, or else it's not marketing, but you want to be able to produce content that your audience likes that you can sustain. If your audience really responds to you doing lip sync videos, but you don't like being on camera and you aren't good at lip syncing and are not interested in learning how to lip sync, you'd rather be like not showing your face, which is possible, then you wanna know that, right? So it doesn't make any sense to get a lot of people on your channel or on your profile or whatever based off of something that you're not willing to continue doing. So that's part of the analysis of, okay, let me get organized with how I polish my presence on social media or whatever, right? So scheduling is really, really important to that. And scheduling not just the content, but the type of content, the platform, like getting really, really organized with all that is so, so, so important when it comes to the book business. And I'm still learning that. That was a very hard lesson for me to learn of like, oh crap, I need to schedule time to schedule time to learn, right? This new science that I'm in for. And it took a lot of time for me to admit that because I felt like I didn't have time. But the reality is you do it right or you do it again. So we all have to do it. Just make your mind up. You're gonna need time to learn the science of marketing if you're an indie author and if you're not paying someone to do it for you. And that's gonna take time. So give yourself a few months, I would say, even before you want to start marketing your book, to start building up your profile a little bit so you can see what works, what doesn't, so you can get in the habit of, well, how much time does it take me to produce how many reels or posts, and when do I work best on that, and how do I find trending audio and those different things, whatever it is that you want to do. Where do I find stock images and videos for XX and X? You want to figure out, right, how much time it's going to take and where you are. Like you want to give yourself time to crawl before you need to run because the book is coming out soon, which is the position I'm in. And I'm telling you, don't come where I am. Don't come where I am, but whatever. Someone who I would say you should check out who's doing it really well is Kate Watson, who wrote Single All the Way. Um, she is basically doing like little real commercials for her books, and they're popping all the way off. So check her out. She's on Instagram for sure. I don't know if she's on TikTok also, but probably. I don't know why she wouldn't be. But check her out to see a way that you can sort of market your book without putting your face forward. Um, she has her she has like an author photo as her profile picture. I'm not saying like hide your face completely. I mean, I guess if you want to, that's your business. But I wasn't talking about that. You can still have an author profile and still be like, I don't want, you can still have a picture of yourself as your author profile pic and still be like, I don't want to have my face on every single video. There's a way to do that. Kate Watson does it really well. So I would check her out if you're interested in going that avenue and figure out where the heck she's getting all these super aesthetic videos from because they're doing their job. Okay, so lesson number one was the book is not the business. Lesson number two is scheduling is king. And lesson number three is think at least two projects ahead. So right now, I have a spec fic book, or yeah, I have a spec fic book that I want to come out in 2025, early 2025. I don't want to have the rush that I have now for courting danger. So I need to be thinking about what I want coming out in February 2025, which is what I'm hoping for. I need to be thinking about that now because that's like only 12 months away, 12 and a half months away. That's not a lot of time. And I'll do another video maybe later about like the timeline of working with different creatives as an indie author because unless you're doing everything yourself, you're not doing everything yourself, right? You have an editor, you have a cover designer. If you want to have an audiobook, you're working with a production company. Those are time, that's three timelines. That's three people. And they have different projects that they're also working on with other authors. And so you want to reach out to them as early as possible so that you're able to get the most out of it and not have to rush and not have to worry that your project is going to be pushed back from the desired date. So the lesson I learned for myself and that I'm sharing with you is think at least two projects down the line. What's the first project after this? Is it on track? Do you need to finish up writing? Do you need to pause other projects that are fun to finish this first project, which needs to have priority? Like, do you have an editor booked for that? Do you have a cover designer booked for that? Do you know voice actors that you want to use for them? Do you want to reach out and get on their schedule? What's required? Do they need a deposit? All these different things, right? Think about that two projects down the line because if you're an indie author, it's like freelance and other people that you work with are freelance too. Their schedules fill up. So I would definitely say reach out to the people and the teams that you'll need as early as possible. But to do that, you have to be thinking at least two books in advance, especially if you're publishing multiple books a year, you have to be thinking at least two books in advance. And I guess depending on how many books a year you'd publish, I would really say think a year and a half in advance. So if you're publishing three books a year, okay, whatever. Think a year and a half in advance, however many projects that is for you. And the final lesson I learned is don't expect immediate results, especially with like social media stuff. If you are starting an author profile from scratch as opposed to migrating a previous profile into an author profile, that means you're starting with zero followers. That takes time. So I would suggest getting in Facebook groups that make sense, whether it's romance authors, indie authors, writing, whatever. Get in Facebook groups and say, hey, I'm new. I want to connect with people on X and X platform. Um, Link party, like drop your handles and I'll follow you. I want to be friends. I want to find out like who's doing this and blah, 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 blah. People are so generous in those spaces. They absolutely will follow you back as soon as they know who you are because they're like, oh, this is another author. This is a colleague. So that's a way to build some growth because in the slower build of stuff like readers finding and following you, readers finding your book, it's authors that support each other. So don't expect immediate results, but a way to get in community and have a sort of foundation for some growing numbers is linking up with other authors in your genre, making connections, and not just to build numbers, but truly for connections, for networking, because you want to get experience with people who've been in the game for 10 years and have seen a lot of trends and shifts, et cetera, et cetera. Like, don't expect immediate results, but you don't have to wait to make connections, is the last lesson I would share with you. All right, now moving on to hashtag goals. So, goal number one is get better at scheduling. And so I need to get consistent on my author socials. I am juggling so many things. Those of you who are not new to my channel know how much I'm juggling. This is my last year of grad school, dissertation, like all of the things, job market, all of the things. And that's only half of my responsibilities in the academic realm. And then I have like book and then other books that I'm doing and a podcast that I have, two podcasts that I have. I have so much. Um, it's hard to add another thing to that. And the other thing is more social media. I hate social media. I don't know if y'all know that. I really, truly hate it. I will scroll on Instagram for way too long. I don't like that. But I will scroll on Instagram for way too long. But I mostly am looking at puppy videos and like Bible quote videos. I don't like creating content. I don't. It's too much for me, but I have to. Um, so getting consistent on author socials and figuring out, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to do lip syncing videos? Do I want to do no face videos? Like, what do I want to do and what are people liking? Which is hard to figure out when you're still growing and like people are kind of finding you very slowly. That will probably pick up when the book comes out and people start reading it and wondering who wrote this thing. But for now, it's kind of hard to figure out what followers want because I don't have that many on my author socials. And so in the meantime, I'm like, well, what should I be doing? What do you like? Blah, blah, blah. So getting consistent is really hard when I feel like minimal direction, but that also goes back to, well, there are courses for indie authors about marketing on social media. I need to stop throwing stuff at the wall and figuring out what sticks and actually like learn the science of the thing, right? So I need to like that was like seven goals in one, but the goal is author socials. Um, Plan for fantasy author platforms is my second goal. This goal does not necessarily like an immediate one. Usually the goals that I share on my honesties are for the next 4 weeks. The author fantasy platforms, that's like more of a 6 month thing that I'm just putting in the atmosphere right now because maybe not 6 months, that's a long time. Maybe in the second quarter of the year, I'll be able to start that, but I'm not starting any more author socials until I know what I'm doing with the ones that I've started and I understand the science. I'm not putting any more balls in the air until I understand what's going on in the world. But that is a goal. Because I'm thinking of two projects ahead, the very next project that I'm doing is hashtag second romance, which is the sequel to A Church Girl's Guide to Courting Danger. But after that, it's a duology. After that, it's a totally different project and a totally different genre of speculative fiction. So that's gonna have a different author pen name. I talked about that in my December honesty. If you haven't seen that, definitely go check it out. But that's a different author pen name, and so it's a different author profile. And right now, what it's either Brittney True or brittwriterly. The brittwriterly ones are going to be very easy to translate over to my author pen name because the brittwriterly is mostly fantasy people anyway. But I don't even want to change the profile name to author pen name TBA. I don't want to even do that until I'm ready to be consistently producing author content for that book, and I'm just not. And maybe when I get past the debut of Courting Danger and the audiobook drop, like maybe when I get past all that, I'll be able to take a breath and do that. But as of now, I really just can't. But it's something that I'm thinking about pretty regularly. So I put it on the list just to get it out of my head. The third goal is to get better at using Canva to prep content. This is especially for Instagram. I don't know if it's just me, but Instagram has been very glitchy for me for the past several months where I'll record 4 reels, feel like good job, you're getting consistent. And then I go back and the audio has been stripped from half of the reels and I didn't save it. I just started creating with it. So I don't know where it is and it's just trash. And that has really discouraged me from scheduling, because it feels like the scheduling comes to nothing when the work is undone by a glitch in the algorithm or whatever the heck is going on that makes it strip my audio. So I need to get better at making videos and then saving them by on Canvas and their newer mobile video feature, because Canva doesn't do that, right? So I need to get better at saving stuff on Canva so that I can schedule and know that my scheduling work is safe, because it hasn't been that with Instagram and it has set me so far back. So get better at using Canva to prep content. The fourth goal is to finish a draft one of hashtag second romance. Like I said, think 2 projects down the line. I really need to start reaching out to cover designers and all that kind of stuff for second romance. But before I can do all of that stuff, like I said, there's the book and then there's the business. So you need to think 2 projects down the line, but also wear the hats you're wearing well so that you don't have to put it back on later. So I need to like engage the discipline of my creative hat so I can pump it out and finish it and get it to alpha readers. Um, so I really need to just like do that. And then the last goal is to send Tales of Eliza Black to my critique partners. That's the second project in the queue. Second, Tales of Eliza Black is way closer to being done than hashtag second romance, 'cause I've been working on it for a lot longer. For those of you who were at my channel in the beginning, they know that I used to do like shorts like a cereal, like a cereal. Tales of Eliza Black started off as a cereal and then it just kept going and going and going. And I was like, gee, I wonder how many pages and chapters this would be. And it was a lot. So I was like, okay, I'll make it a novella. And then the story kept going. And then I was like, this is a novel. And now here's Tales of Eliza Black. So Tales of Eliza Black is a lot closer to being done than hashtag second romance. But I think the general wisdom is to finish a series before starting a new one. And romance has a lot smaller in between time between books in a series. So I'm just going to finish this Charlesian romance duology and then go to Tales of Eliza Black, but it is closer to being done than hashtag second romance. So I want to send that to the last set of CPs who haven't yet seen it. And then I'll be able to start reaching out to a team for Tales of Eliza Black, where that book rollout will not be nearly as rushed as Courting Danger has been. So those are my goals for the next 4 months. I'm really excited for all that publishing, like this leg of my author journey. Like I'm really excited for it. It is tiring. It is crazy making, but I'm really excited for it. So if you have any questions about any of the lessons I shared, or if you have anything that you'd like to see, like a video on how to get your book listed on Goodreads, let me know. And I will either answer it in the comments if it's a super quick question, or link a resource if I can, or maybe I'll like make a video in response to it. So let me know your questions. And if you have not added my book on Goodreads, once again, definitely go and add it. If you have not subscribed to the monthly trooper, definitely go to brittwriterly.com and subscribe. It's just 1 month. It's just one newsletter a month. It's not a lot at all. All you have to win is goodies, and you have nothing to lose. You see my beautiful face too. So it's really just blessings on blessings for you, if you understand what I'm saying. Don't forget, if you miss the boat and don't sign up for the newsletter in time, then you're going to miss the opportunity to get a sneak peek of Courting Danger, and you'll have to hope you can get an arc from it somewhere. More on that later, but the best way to get updates on all of my stuff is to follow me on my socials, which are also linked in the description. So definitely, if you have not followed me at authorbrittneytrue on Instagram and TikTok, do that, because that's where you'll get like up to the day, up to the minute type of updates. For instance, as soon as I had my Goodreads stuff up, people on my IG knew because it was in my stories. So if you want that kind of up to the minute updates, then you definitely need to be following me on Instagram and TikTok. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye bye.